I got to the point where I actually applied to a master's course. 3 whole guys express an interest in me. Do I see myself living in this house for the long term? That's another question. Before we get started with the video, I want to introduce today's sponsor, which is Udemy. Udemy is an online learning platform which has millions of learners across the globe, tons and tons of courses. They're in areas like finance and accounting, IT and software, marketing, productivity, design. I definitely say that these courses are suitable for both students and young professionals. When you set up your account, you can specify your profession or profession you'd like to go into, and it will recommend courses relating to that profession and skills you'd need in your job. I've recently started a course on there myself. It's called Unlock Excel VBA and Excel Macros. I chose it because it was a bestseller course with thousands of good ratings. That's the other good thing. You can see all the ratings of people who have previously taken the course. As we all know, I work with Excel daily, becoming a little bit of an Excel whiz. But there's also a lot more to learn. I will run macros, and we use macros to automate repetitive tasks, but writing the macros myself, I haven't done so much. I'm taking the course with the view that this is going to improve my performance on projects at work, and that's going to improve my chances of promotion. The other thing I'd say is these courses are great to put on your CV. So if you're interested in the Udemy courses, please click the link in the description box below. Please note that I will get a small commission for any courses purchased through this link, but it will be at no additional cost to yourself. And yeah, thank you Udemy for sponsoring this video, and let's get into it. Hey everybody! So today I thought I would do a Q&A video. Let's go back to that old classic because I've got updates for you all. You know, my life has changed quite a lot in recent months. I thought I'd give you guys the details today. I asked for questions over on Instagram over a month ago now. I did intend on filming this video way sooner than I have. I just haven't had time to sit down and film. Honestly, life has been hectic. It's a good thing because I'm enjoying keeping busy. But yeah, thank you for sending in questions. I'm going to get through as many as I possibly can, and we can just have a little catch up. It'll be lovely, a little autumn catch up. Okay, this is a good one to start with. You said once that moving to CAM would mean you're clinging on to CAM. Why have you still opted for it? Really, the selling factor of Cambridge for me was easy access to friends. I've got a whole network of friends in Cambridge, London, this kind of area, and these are people who I really wasn't getting to see while I was living down on the south coast with my parents. And actually, even though I've moved back, I feel extremely outside of the Cambridge bubble. The Cambridge bubble is what everyone refers to when you're a student in Cambridge and you're just not really aware of anything going on outside of Cambridge. You get so wrapped up in that Cambridge lifestyle, and that's great. I had so much fun being in the bubble, but I feel well and truly outside of it now. Even though I'm living in Cambridge, I'm living a little bit more out of town. I'm living with other young professionals. It does feel like a new chapter. I don't feel like I'm clinging on to uni. Am I just trying to convince myself that I'm not clinging on? I don't know. But even if I am clinging on, whatever, there's no problem with that. Do what makes you happy. What's it like moving out and living with your friends? It's been good so far. So I've been in a house with 3 of my course mates from university for a few months now. All of us have graduated, all of us are working full-time jobs. It's just nice to be moving in with people you know. I'm already really comfortable around these people. I feel like I can just relax and be myself in communal areas in the house. But it's nice living in a house where I feel comfortable to tell people if they're doing something that is annoying. You know when you're like living with strangers and you don't want to pull them up on things? It's better living with friends because you can actually say, oh, why the hell did you not clean that up? And vice versa. They could be like, Paige, you forgot to put away your pan last night. We have had lots of guests around to the house so far. We've had a couple of parties. If I'm honest with you, I found it quite tiring hosting quite regularly. It's so nice to see people, but I find it quite intense when there's a whole ton of people around at once. What's it like seeing all the Cambridge students but not being one now? It's alright. This time last year, I think I spoke about how much I missed uni. I was really sad that I wasn't a student anymore. and I think that feeling has slowly faded over the course of the year. I loved my student days, but it was hard work and I don't want to go back to that. I have a good work ethic, but I also have now more of an idea of a work-life balance I want in the long term, and that Cambridge workload is not something I would want for an extended period of time. 3 years was enough. I can still do a lot of the fun stuff I did as a student, as a young professional now. I've been having parties, I've been coxing again, I've been going for dinner with friends, I've been playing board games with friends. This is all the stuff I did as a student, and I can still do that as a young professional, and I don't have the stress of that intense workload. I think just seeing other students around Cambridge, younger students, makes me feel a little bit old. I'm 22, nearly 23 now, and all these freshers are all just 18. I've grown up, I've matured. Is it hard living in a house with all guys? I'd say not really. I think the stereotype is that boys are a little bit more messy. They're into gaming, like video gaming. I'm not so into video gaming, but I just let them get on with that, you know. My general experience with girls is that they can sometimes be quite bitchy, and you just don't have that problem with boys. So I do just get along quite well with them. I do have friends who are girls though as well, even if they don't live in the same house as me. I'm coxing a women's rowing crew, so I get to spend time with girls who maybe I have more in common with sometimes. I think for all of us in this house, because we've only really recently moved out and haven't all got a lot of experience of cooking and cleaning and looking after a house ourselves, there is work to be done there. We all could put a bit more effort in with the cleaning, I reckon, of the house. But I'm not just going to pin that on them just because they're boys. I think we all have that to work on. Who is the messiest person in your new house in Cambridge? I'm not going to call them out on here because I think that'd be a bit mean, but I have someone in mind. Any plans on doing a master's degree? Earlier this year I was seriously considering doing a master's degree. I got to the point where I actually applied to a master's course at St Andrews. The course was in Astrophysics. You all know by now that I am the most indecisive person on the planet. Even when I make a decision, I am second guessing that decision. And I think in the first half of this year I was just really fed up with my work because I'd been working from home full time and saw all my friends having fun while being a student. So I just thought, I just want to go back and be a student again and have fun again. So I applied. I thought there's no harm in applying. I got invited for interview, and at that point I decided not to go for the interview. I didn't want to waste time in applying for something and putting effort into an interview when I wasn't really going to do it. I wanted to prove to myself that I could get onto a master's course and that I was good enough to be accepted for a master's course. I guess I wanted to prove to myself that it was an option. I was seeing a lot of comments from people saying, I can't believe you left astrophysics, and I was like, I can't believe I left astrophysics either. What am I doing? But then I just have to bring myself back to reality and think long term. And all of a sudden, my corporate job, my actuarial job, has been starting to be way more appealing. Things have started opening up in the second half of this year. I've got to meet colleagues, go into an office, have an actual social life again with my colleagues. The work is challenging, stimulating, and it pays well. And suddenly it really didn't seem like such a bad option. And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, why would I throw it away? I could have asked my company if they'd allow me to go off for a year to do a master's degree and then come back. I have no idea what their response would be. I haven't asked them, and I think at this stage I'm really committing now to getting through the actuarial exam, so that's another 3-4 years to get through those and qualify as an actuary. Then I'll reassess what I want to do next, but I don't see myself doing a master's degree in the next few years. There's a lot of questions saying, have you met anyone? Wink wink. Do you have a partner? You're dating someone? Love life ? Are you in a relationship? No, not in a relationship. I have been on a few dates recently. I think I alluded to this in one of my recent vlogs. I'm 22, going on 23 soon. I've never had a long-term relationship. I think that's partially because I'm quite shy and I take a long time to actually open up and be comfortable and be myself around people. And I'm still just looking for someone who I really click with and who's on my wavelength. I did have a month recently where in the space of a month I had 3 whole guys express an interest in me, which was very flattering, and they were all lovely as well. It's just I'm looking for that click, someone who has like the same sense of humour as me, who can make me really laugh. So I'm biding my time, but going on dates and making more of an effort now with my love life than I ever used to. Someone asked, what has Lydia been up to? Lydia's my sister, for those of you who don't know. She is actually in Canada at the moment. She's on a year abroad because she's still a university student. She's in her 3rd year now and studying at the University of Waterloo. I FaceTime her every now and again. She's coming back to the UK at Christmas, but she seems like she's having a really lovely time. How do you revive your social life post-COVID/study bubble? I'm struggling. I totally understand this, you know. I just reached out to people, sent messages saying, hey, do you want to catch up? And pretty much in all of those cases, people were like, yes, I'd love to. And then I've also joined this town boat club. I think joining an activity like a sport or music is a really great way to meet new people. And funnily enough, I was having a conversation with one of them at a dinner event we had a few weeks ago, and they were saying to me, yeah, I took up rowing and joined this club because I wanted to meet other young people. Every single one of the crew was saying things along these lines. All of us had started for the social side of it because it is harder when you have a job to meet new people. It's not like university when you have societies ready to help you meet new people and find other like-minded people with similar interests. You have to put in a little bit more effort. But I think just don't rush it. Don't put pressure on yourself to be out the whole time. I've found recently that I'm still quite introverted and I do need my own space. Just because I've missed out on a load of socialising due to COVID, I don't need to be on it the whole time. But still have confidence that you're capable of socialising. I'm a massive overthinker, so lockdown and COVID times gave me lots of time to think about everything I was doing wrong in my social encounters. But you just gotta plunge back in there and don't overthink it. Have you had any trouble adjusting personally to all these rapid changes in your life? Yes, I'd say yes. It hasn't all been plain sailing. I'm still just feeling out what direction I want to take my life in and try not to view anything as permanent, because I can always change my mind on where I'm living, what I'm doing for work, who I surround myself with, you know. For example, this house, I do love it. I love living with my friends, and we've been so lucky to land ourselves a house like this one, which has been newly refurbished. But for some reason, my bedroom still doesn't feel like home. I've never really had this before. Like when I've been at uni, within the space of a few weeks, the room I was living in, I quickly became very attached to, and it felt like home. But I haven't really developed much of an attachment. It still feels like I'm just staying here temporarily. And the other thing I think I've struggled with is work-life balance now that I've gone back to the office. For some reason in recent months I've been getting more and more tempted to work overtime, and I don't get paid for overtime, so there's not really much incentive to work overtime. But yeah, I guess juggling all of that alongside all the new social activities I've thrown myself into has left me feeling quite exhausted in recent weeks. I've been craving having some time to just watch TV and do some mindless activities, but I've just found like I can't relax sometimes. I've diagnosed the issue recently that I think of life like a checklist now. Even fun stuff like organising social activities or going out for dinner becomes like a checklist, to-do list activity, and it's just this mindset that is driving me crazy. The whole concept of productivity just annoys me so much. If anyone else is thinking of life like a checklist, let me know and tell me how I can fix this. In answer to your question, I have struggled adjusting a little bit to all the changes in my life, but there's also been so much fun stuff, and overall I'm very happy with the changes that have happened to my life this year. Particularly going into an office about 4 times a week now. I'm often in the WeWork co-working space in Cambridge, or going to my company's London office. I've really enjoyed travelling into London and feeling really professional and just getting to know my colleagues. I didn't expect to get along with the team so well in Cambridge. My motivating factors for moving to Cambridge were mostly to do with existing social networks I had. I hadn't really thought about the team I was joining in Cambridge. It was convenient that there was a team in Cambridge, but I wasn't too worried about the team dynamic. And wow, the Cambridge office, like, they are my sort of people. The jokes I can get on board with, like, they have good banter. They like playing board games and having cozy, wholesome dinners together. I love that. That's my sort of thing. They're not big on drinking or nights out in bars and partying. Neither am I. And I just look forward to seeing them at the WeWork every day. They're just a really, really friendly team. If I'd known in advance that they were going to be so lovely, I would have moved to Cambridge even sooner. Oh, speaking of my sister, she's FaceTiming. Shall we speak to my sister? Hey sis, how's it going?
It's going good.
Sis, I'm actually filming a video right now. And one of the questions was, what's Lydia up to at the moment? You can give like an actual answer.
Eating an omelette for breakfast at 10 AM on Wednesday.
Okay, eating an omelette for breakfast at 10 AM on a Wednesday.
I woke up late, I've not got much to report.
There you go, update from Lydia herself. Do you see yourself living in Cambridge in the long term? At the moment, and this could change, I'm not binding myself into anything, but yeah, I'm at the point where I definitely want to go through to the end with my actuarial exams, and I definitely want to see my studies through with the company I'm currently at, because their study support is so great, and I think it's a really good company to be starting my career at because it's a consultancy, so I'm getting such a broad overview of the industry. And my favourite team at the company is the Cambridge team. Do I see myself living in this house for the long term? That's another question. I think it's probably likely that I'll move out of this house after the year. I guess at the age of 22, I'm ready for a little bit more of a quieter life with less parties and hosting things. Someone's asked, what do your roommates do and do you all have conflicting schedules? Well, we all have 9 till 5 Monday to Friday jobs, so I guess our schedules sync up quite well in that respect. We have different working arrangements. I work primarily from an office. I'm normally working from home 1 or 2 days a week. Jacob normally works from home like 3 or 4 days a week. Ed and Tim maybe 1 or 2 days a week at home. But there's enough space in this house that if we all did need to work from home on the same day, then we could. I guess my current issue with schedules is that some of my housemates get up earlier than me for work when they're going into the office, and my room is right next to the kitchen. I go to sleep when the last person leaves that kitchen at night, and I wake up when the first person comes into that kitchen in the morning, because sound just travels so easily into my room from there. Do you miss home? Home being my parents' house where I grew up. Kind of. Like, I don't miss living there full time. I'd much rather be here. I do have a car. I own half a car. I share a car with my housemate Tim, so I can drive home, but the drive is 2.5 hours ish, so I don't end up going home that regularly. I've only been home once since I moved, and I don't get to see the dog Buster that often. I see him on FaceTime and he just doesn't understand technology. He just doesn't acknowledge me when I'm speaking to him on the phone. I FaceTime my parents every day anyway, so I guess I can't really miss them because I speak to them all the time. What exams will you take next? Are you happy with your progress? For those of you who don't know, I'm currently taking actuarial exams. I'm studying towards a professional qualification. I've passed 2 exams earlier this year. I'm still waiting on results from my most recent exam. Am I happy with my progress? I'll know the answer to that question once I've received my results. All being well, my intentions are to take a statistics exam next sitting. It's CS2, so it's the second statistics exam. Also a business exam. I think it's business economics, but I haven't actually started studying for them yet. My first study day is actually tomorrow. This is an interesting one. Did you need to take a pay cut because you transferred out of London? Technically, I wasn't based in central London before. I was actually based in Reigate, which is kind of south of London, but my company doesn't have any difference in salary that I'm aware of between entry-level analysts in Reigate, London or Cambridge. So no, my salary wasn't affected by the move. I think now increasingly any differences in pay between people who work in London and people who work outside of London are going to disappear and be taken away because of that work from home option now. Like, I guess people who have central London jobs who are working from home at the moment are laughing at the moment because they're getting that London salary and not having to commute in and spend anything on travel or spend anything on crazy London house prices. Yeah, my salary hasn't changed, apart from I got a pay rise earlier in the year when I passed exams. I'm hoping if I pass exams from this last sitting just gone, then I'll get another pay rise at the end of the year, and then aiming for promotion February time next year. Christmas plans. Well, I am going back to my parents' house for Christmas. I've got 2 weeks or so, I think, just over 2 weeks off work. It'll be my birthday as well. See family, see my auntie, my grandma, my sister's coming back from Canada, and there's a lot of people like friends from school who I really want to catch up with over Christmas, so I actually need to start getting things booked in now. How do you find making content since graduating? It's strange because when I was a student I was managing to churn out weekly videos no issue, and I had a workload this high and all these other social things on too. I have no idea how I fitted it in, but I did. But now I'm like, yeah, I don't have time for the filming, the editing. I can barely get up a video every 2 weeks, and yet I've got a job where I'm technically finishing at 6. In theory I should have less on. YouTube has always been a hobby for me. I'll make content when I have time, when I want to, when I'll enjoy making it. I really want to keep you guys updated with what I'm up to. I also like making content about graduate life because I was really uncertain graduating uni what to expect. I very much took my time accepting that I was graduating from uni and leaving that student lifestyle behind. So I feel like what I'm doing now is still something people can relate to. Okay, I think this is going to be the last question because it's getting late. The question is, how are you finding billable hours targets, assuming you have those? Yes, I do have billable hours targets. For those of you who aren't familiar, consultancies often give their junior employees targets which involve hitting a certain number of hours which can then be billed to clients. Generally, the more billable hours, the better you're doing. And in our objectives every year, we have performance reviews every year, we get set these billable hours targets. To be honest, I haven't really been letting it faze me. I think a lot of people get quite obsessed with billable hours targets. I guess it's because they want to do well, they want to get promotion, they want to get that bonus at the end of the year. And I get that, but a lot of the times a junior colleague is quite out of your control. You get put on whatever projects the resourcing team give you. I heard recently people talking more about how your bonus is calculated from your billable hours and your target, and to be honest I wish I hadn't heard it. I don't want that in the back of my head, like just no bonus is worth it for sacrificing my work-life balance. Cool, I am gonna end this video here, but thank you very much for watching. Hope this has given you an update on what's up. If you've got any other questions, any follow-up questions, leave them in the comments section below and I'll see if I can get to some of them. Give the video a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of what I'm up to in the next few months. Follow my Instagram for extra updates, and you can get involved with more Q&A interactive style videos like this over there, because that's where I normally ask for questions. And I will see you guys soon with another video. Bye bye.